Renting is throwing money away. It's the most repeated line in all of personal finance. Your parents said it, your coworker said it, the realtor said it twice, and about half the time it is flatly wrong. Buying a home is not automatically a great investment. Renting is not automatically a waste. Both choices come with real money you will never get back. Today, the actual math of rent versus buy, the hidden costs on both sides, and a simple rule to tell which one wins for you. Welcome to Fiscal Fluency, the language of wealth. Rent versus buy is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make, and it is drowning in bad advice. Let's translate it. The hidden costs on both sides, the one rule that cuts through the noise, and when each choice actually makes sense. Start with the myth itself. People say renting throws money away because rent builds no equity. That part is true. Every dollar of rent is gone the moment you pay it. But the saying quietly ignores the other half of the ledger. When you own, a large share of your money is also thrown away. It just hides in places renters never have to look. Mortgage interest, property taxes, homeowners insurance, maintenance, closing costs when you buy, and again when you sell. Not $1 of that builds equity. It is, in effect, the homeowner's rent, money paid for the privilege of occupying the home. So the honest question was never rent versus build equity. It is which pile of unrecoverable costs is smaller, the renters or the owners. Let's name the owners' unrecoverable costs because they are the ones that hide. First, mortgage interest. In the early years of a 30-year loan, the large majority of every payment is interest, not principal. On a $400,000 mortgage, you can pay more than $20,000 in interest in the first year alone while building almost no equity. Second, property taxes. Very roughly 1% of the home's value every single year, and they never stop, even after the loan is paid off. Third, maintenance. A widely used rule of thumb sets aside about 1% of the home's value per year for repairs, roofs, and the water heater that always dies in winter. Fourth, insurance, which only rises over time. And fifth, transaction costs. Buying runs 2 to 5% up front. Selling has historically cost around 6% in agent commissions, though those became openly negotiable after the 2024 industry settlement. Round trip, you can hand over 8 to 10% of the home's value just to enter and exit the deal. Now the renter's secret weapon, opportunity cost. To buy, you hand over a large down payment and absorb all those higher monthly costs. The renter does neither. If the renter takes the money they did not spend, the down payment plus the monthly difference, and invests it in a diversified index fund, that money compounds for decades. This is the comparison almost everyone botches. It is not rent versus a mortgage payment. It is the owner's total unrecoverable costs with a pile of cash locked in the walls against the renter's lower costs plus a growing investment portfolio. Remember buy term and invest the difference? Housing has the same cousin. Rent the cheaper option and invest the difference. The catch is enormous though. The renter has to genuinely invest that money every month, not let it leak into a nicer car. Here is the rule that cuts through all of it, the 5% rule, popularized by the analyst Ben Felix. Add up the 3 biggest unrecoverable costs of owning. Property tax, call it 1%. Maintenance, about 1%. And the cost of capital, what your down payment and equity could have earned invested elsewhere, roughly 3%. Together, about 5% of the home's value, every year, simply gone. So take the price of the home you would buy, multiply by 5%, and divide by 12. That is your break-even monthly rent. If you can rent the equivalent home for less than that figure, renting is the financially stronger move. If renting costs more than that, buying starts to pull ahead. Take a $400,000 home. 5% is $20,000 a year, about $1,660 a month. Rent the same place for less, and you are winning by renting. The 5% rule handles the monthly math. Time handles the rest. Those transaction costs, the 8 to 10% round trip, do not disappear. They get spread across every year you own the home. Stay a single year, and that cost is devastating. Stay 10 years, and it barely registers. That is the break-even horizon. As a rough guide, you often need to stay in a home somewhere around 5 years just for appreciation and the equity you build to outrun the cost of buying and then selling. Buy a place you will leave in 2 years, and you can lose money even in a market that is rising because the transaction costs eat the gains. The shorter your time horizon, the more renting wins. The longer you will truly stay put, the more buying makes sense. So when does buying genuinely win? 4 things line up. A long time horizon. You will stay for many years, so the transaction costs melt away. A fixed-rate mortgage that freezes your largest monthly expense while rents keep climbing with inflation year after year. Leverage. A modest down payment controls a much larger asset, and the appreciation on the whole thing is yours. And the quiet one, forced savings. Most people will never reliably invest the difference, but they will pay a mortgage every month, and that discipline builds wealth almost by accident. Add the things a spreadsheet cannot price: stability, control, painting a wall, whatever color you want, and for the right person in the right home for a long enough stay, buying is an excellent decision. 4 questions to settle it for your situation. 1. How long will you stay? Under 5 years, lean toward renting. Well beyond 5, lean toward buying. 2. Run the 5% rule. Is the equivalent rent above or below 5% of the purchase price? 3. Be brutally honest about discipline. If you rent, will you actually invest the difference or quietly spend it? If you will spend it, the forced savings of a mortgage may beat you anyway. 4. What is the non-financial value? Roots, schools, the freedom to renovate, those are real, just not on a spreadsheet. Rent versus buy was never a moral question. It is a math question with a personal tiebreaker. This is education, not financial advice. Run your own numbers before the biggest purchase of your life and talk to a fee-only advisor if it is close. The Fiscal Fluency Ledger has a rent versus buy calculator built to do exactly this. Link in the description. If this made the choice clearer, subscribe. One language, one workbook, one smarter decision at a time. Stay fluent.